Call the member for Ballina.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I rise to acknowledge the devastating impact of the flood events in the Northern Rivers on our communities and in particular in the Ballina electorate. Madam Speaker, when the Prime Minister said a few weeks ago that it's supposedly normal for communities to rescue themselves in the first 72 hours of a natural disaster, we were quite gobsmacked at that because we didn't actually know that we had to basically save ourselves and that we really need to become villages of doomsday preppers if we're going to withstand adaptation under climate change. So if that is the case and that is the future of disaster response and adaptation under climate change, then at least resource our people so that they can adequately prepare and be appropriately compensated for doing that rescue work in times of crisis. And also we saw on the first day, Madam Speaker, of the floods where ordinary citizens were turned away. And we understand the complexities of that, but really it's time to talk about empowering local communities. I offer my heartfelt condolences to the families and loved ones of those who've lost their lives in the recent flood events. I also acknowledge the devastating impact and suffering of the estimated 20,000 individuals and families who have lost their homes and the many thousands whose homes and businesses were flooded by this extreme weather event. I would like to commend and thank all members of our emergency services who risked their lives to rescue people in our community, while they and their own families were also impacted. Hundreds and hundreds of volunteers and personnel across the emergency services agencies have come to our area to assist us in recovery, as well as Australian Defence Force personnel, and I thank them all. There were countless local heroes whose names often weren't known who rescued our people when others could not. I know that everyone in this place has been humbled and in awe of the way that people in our communities have helped each other and rallied to provide food, shelter and support. And I note the member for Port Macquarie is here and he has also experienced this in his electorate. Community organisations and individual citizens who made sure people were rescued and supported when all of the telecommunications in the area were down. And the incredible generosity of the Mud Army and the hordes of people from outside the area who came to give their time and energy to assist our communities. I also want to thank the Ballina Electorate Office team for their incredible service to our community through these extremely difficult times. I thank the Premier and the Minister for Flood Recovery for their action and engagement and for the financial assistance that our communities are receiving from both the state and the Commonwealth. However, we do our communities a disservice if we only acknowledge their ongoing trauma from this recent flooding event and fail to address the root cause of it. We do not shy away, Madam Speaker, from the fact that the extreme weather events of the last few years experienced in our region, catastrophic bushfires and supercharged storms leading to horrendous flood events, are the impacts of climate change. What the communities of Mullumbimby, Ocean Shores, South Golden Beach, New Brighton, Ballina, West Ballina, South Ballina, Wardell, Pimlico, Cabbage Tree Island, Main Arm, Upper Main Arm, Wilsons Creek, Upper Wilsons Creek and Huonbrook have experienced on the back of the Black Summer bushfires and the 2017 floods are the extreme weather events that we've been warned about for several decades as our planet warms. We are literally living in the pages of a dystopian novel where our failure to mitigate climate change and to support communities to adapt to climate change already occurring is causing untold suffering. And what has been laid bare is the hollowing out of social services, the gentrification of our region and the hardening of the divide between the rich and the poor. We already had a lean mental health service and a housing and homelessness crisis resulting from a lack of housing affordability and rampant short-term holiday letting. Now those needs are beyond the pale. There are lots of gaps and failures by government agencies that have also been laid bare, and I want our communities to have their voices heard through the Premier's inquiry. That is before we can even begin to have the conversation, the most difficult of all, about managed retreat from flood-prone and bushfire-prone areas and adaptation to future extreme weather events. Madam Speaker, our social infrastructure and connectivity as a community was found to be very intact and strong, and I know that we will grow back stronger, and I will do everything I can to assist that recovery.
Thank the member for Ballina. I call the member